Hello friends! Oh my goodness, it is so beautifully sunny and warm here in England at the moment. We have been needing a little bit of summer, shall I put it like that? And we have finally been given it, and it is glorious. So this video today is all about going and buying the thing, slash things, but going and buying it. This is what has inspired this video today. I have been wanting M&Ms to do this for the longest time ever. I remember as a kid having little packets of them. They also do them on top of these M&M brownies, the little tiny M&Ms. They're amazing. And I've always said, why don't they just do proper bags of those? Where are they? Where are they at? Why are they not doing those? And so I've always just gone to the cake decorating aisle where they have the little tiny beans and been like, that'll do. But today I went into the shop next door and they had these. It's made my day, absolutely made my day. But it got me thinking, as I came out of the shop, I remember inside my eating disorder so many situations and so many times where I would see things, see new foods, old foods, things I've liked, things I hadn't tried yet, see things and want them or want to buy them, but not. Now, sometimes that would mean clocking things and just ignoring it and walking on by. Sometimes it would mean noticing things and going over and looking closer. Sometimes it would mean picking them up and looking at it and analysing it and feeling it and touching it and smelling it and then putting it back. Sometimes it would mean doing all of that stuff or some of that stuff and then putting it in the basket and then walking a little bit and then going and taking it back. Or taking it for a little walk around the supermarket and then dropping it in some unknown location so that some poor person had to then come and tidy up after me as I was just depositing different items around the shop. Sometimes it meant getting it all the way to the checkout and then sticking it just at that little side bit and being like, oh, actually no. Sometimes it meant getting all the way to that point and then suddenly being like, oh no, now I'm going to go and walk around and go and put them back. It looked like all sorts of different things. But the reality was, at its core, it was the same thing. It was me seeing something that I wanted and then letting the eating disorder win and me therefore not getting it, not buying it. And as I was walking out of the shop this morning with a couple of bags of these in my bag, it dawned on me how different that is. And I thought, I want to come and talk to you guys about this right here, right now. I'm now in a place where I can go into places and I can see things, want them, stick them in my basket, buy them. And it is as simple and easy and straightforward and friction-free as that. There's no juggling game in my head. There's no deep analysis. There's no weighing up the pros and cons. There's no thinking about where is that going to fit and when am I going to have that by and am I going to be able to have it before it goes. There's just nothing. It's just, oh, that looks good. I'd want that. Oh, right, let's buy that. That's it. And the reality is that the way that I got from that place, which was so different, where in all sorts of different ways, that thing just didn't end up, or those things just often didn't end up in my basket, to a place where now it's so simple and so friction-free, was by making myself change the actions that I took. I had to get honest with myself about where the eating disorder and its BS was showing up. I had to identify where restriction and disorder was showing up in my behaviours, and I had to tackle it head on proactively through taking opposite actions. In short, what this meant was that I had to buy the things that I spotted and wanted, and I had to do it repeatedly against friction, against resistance. And sometimes that meant that I would pick things up and put them down, pick things up and put them down, pick things up and I would be in this tussle right there in the supermarket, right in the middle of that civil war that was going on inside me, and I had to be in there and do it. And I had to do that and do that and do that. And the more I did it, the less that tussle showed up. And with time and repetition and consistency, that journey from a place where the eating disorder consistently, time and time again, won, to a place where now there just is no eating disorder at all. It is just truly and purely, authentically me going around a supermarket going, that looks good, whacking it in my basket. The way I did that was by taking action and making change. And so this video, because as I always say, this is not just a talking and listening space, this is a doing space. I am here strongly encouraging you to go and buy the thing. Go and get it. Go and make it happen. And not tomorrow, not next week, not this weekend when you're doing the supermarket shop, blah, blah, blah. No, go. Go and make it happen ASAP. And 99% of the time, if we're really honest with ourselves, if we really, really pull our finger out and jump through hoops for recovery, as soon as possible can be pretty soon. You need to prioritize your recovery as if your life depends on it, because it does. It does. And so you need to make it your mission to go and buy those things and predict the eating disorder's resistance. Predict it. Does prediction mean that you're going to get it and it's going to have magicked away? No, of course it doesn't. But if you can predict that your eating disorder is going to be making all sorts of suggestions for why it's not necessary and it's not the right day and it's too hot for that and it's da-da-da-da and you've got that at home and da-da-da, but whatever, all the reasons under the sun, then you are 2 steps ahead. When it starts happening, you can go, oh, yeah, there it is. I knew that was going to happen. I knew eating disorder was going to be resistant to this. And you can then stand very firm in your recovering hat, coat and shoes and act in alignment with that. Also, another thing to predict is that whatever it is that this video has got you thinking about, whatever it is that this conversation with me here today has kind of brought to the periphery of your mind, that item in the shop, that thing in the bakery, whatever it might be, I want you to predict that when you actually get to the shop, when you get to the aisle, when you get to the point of taking it or getting it, there is a strong chance that you are suddenly not going to want it. And that might feel distinctly different from eating disorder resistance. It may actually feel in that moment like you genuinely just don't want that thing. Like you just don't fancy it, you thought you wanted it before, but actually it doesn't look as good today, and all these different reasons. I want you to predict that there's a strong chance that that may well happen. It might not. You might get in there and you're doing your bold stuff and you predicted eating disorder and it's been a bit of a but you're like, yep, I want it, I'm getting it done. But I want you to predict that there is a chance that when you get into the point of taking action, there's going to be this other form of resistance, and that is you just suddenly not really fancying it. And what I want you to do in that situation is to recognize that this is another form of the eating disorder resistance and the fear showing up. If you wait to want in the now to do the things that you need to do for your recovery, you are going to be waiting for the rest of your life. Yes, recovery is about doing the things you want to do. It's about honoring your hunger. It's about leaning into your core self. It is also about you doing what you need to do for your recovery. You doing what you need to do to purposefully and proactively piss your eating disorder off. And sometimes those two things come together. What you want is also the thing that is exactly what's right for your recovery and to piss your eating disorder off. But sometimes it's not. And actually it's a very common shared experience that you could have been thinking about that delicious chocolate-filled croissant for a good chunk of time. And then yet you get to the shop, you get to the point of buying it, and suddenly it's like, it doesn't really look that good today, and I don't really know if I really fancy that, and you know, the temperature's like 26.5 degrees, and that's not the ideal temperature for a croissant. Whatever it comes up as. Well, I might sound like I'm being ridiculous, but I feel like if you're sat there and you have experienced an eating disorder, you probably get where I'm coming from with the lengths and the depths at which the eating disorder BS comes to and goes to. Now, what I want you to recognize is you cannot wait to want to do it in the now. You've got to predict that there is a likelihood there's going to be that resistance, and it's either going to feel very obviously like eating disorder, or it's a strong chance it's going to feel like an authentic you thinking, I don't really want that. And this is where your commitment comes in. Commitment to making it happen. Commitment to taking action. To going to that shop, to putting it in the trolley or the basket, to buying it, to eating it, and to repeat that process. This is recovery. Recovery is a place where you are going to have to practice commitment, because motivation comes and goes. You're going to practice and lean into your commitment to the process, your commitment to what you need to do, regardless of where your want to do that thing is on any given day or in any given moment. It's also a place where repetition is absolutely crucial. And it's also a place where you need to be proactive in this. Recovery is not going to happen passively or by accident. It happens proactively by you purposefully putting your foot hard on the accelerator, by you choosing to be bold and be brave, by you taking action and doing things differently and making change. That is how you go from a place where you are in your eating disorder to a place where you are free from your eating disorder. So, commitment, repetition, proactivity, getting the thing that you want, buying the thing that you want, whether that's something that you've thought of before you get to a shop or it's something that you see whilst you're in it. Getting honest with yourself that the alternative, not buying it, is a win to your eating disorder. And therefore, it's highly likely and predictable that your eating disorder, in a variety of different ways, is going to be resistant to you buying the thing, to you taking that action. And remembering that the you who is committed to recovery is the you who is committed to doing the opposite of what your eating disorder wants. And so, as I've said many times in this video, you go, you buy it, you eat it, and you repeat that process. As I said earlier, this is not just a talking and listening and speaking space. This is a doing space. So I strongly encourage you to get honest with yourself about the food and foods that fall into this category and to go and take action. And as someone who is recovered, trust me in the fact that the freedom is worth the fight. You've got this. Go do.